Good morning. It's the Fit Lawyer ATL, and we are live. Good morning, guys. So, we're trying something new. That's why I was a few seconds late. So, come on in the room. So, I am streaming now, and it should be broadcasting on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube all at the same time. I think I'm still hitting go live buttons, y'all. So, let's see. Okay, so we can't do that on Twitter. So we'll remove Twitter because it's not working. All right. So tell me, am I good on? I'm good on Facebook. I'm good on YouTube. All right. So if you're watching me on Facebook or Instagram, if that worked, then I can't see your comments because I cannot watch all of those different screens at once. So if you want to be a part of this conversation, come on over to YouTube with me and I can see your comments and your questions. But if you just want to vibe out and watch, then stay where you are. All right. So shout out to forever, for always, forever, for life. And one day I'm going to run that right and not stumble. Shout out, sis, one of my number one supporters. Cheryl Kennedy. Shout out Dr. Kennedy. She is in the house. Amazing doctor. If you're at Casa Permanente and need a doctor, she is out at Stonecrest, I believe, or Conyers area, one of those two locations. Objection 403. She is listening while driving. I've already talked to her and told her to be careful. We are also going to be talking about your name today. Objection 403 will be coming up during this live. So stay tuned and be safe, sis. I do appreciate you tuning in. Trakesha McNeil. Hey. I'm back, girl. Okay, look, y'all know I be busy because I'm still a practicing attorney. For those of y'all just tuning in, I am a criminal defense attorney here in Atlanta, Georgia. I have been practicing for 20 years and I'm in private practice. So I have a firm, several clients. So whenever work comes in heavy and gets really busy, I just feel bad like jumping on YouTube and putting that stuff to the side because like Moontung, right? Every time I get on social media, they're like, what's going on with Moontung? And I'm like, okay, let me focus and work. So I've done my part. So we'll see where that goes. But I am back, y'all. So expect to see me on here at least once a week from now on, unless, something happens. But I'll be here a lot more often. So just go ahead and subscribe, notifications, turn them all on so you will not miss a beat. So who knows what we'll be checking about next. All right. It's crazy. I just checked your channel yesterday. Yeah. So I'm not sure if you saw this. I put it up like yesterday evening. So yes, stay in tune because I'll be back. All right. Gwendolyn, aka Unique Lady G Bard, is in the house, says good morning. So yeah, y'all, I don't want to keep people long because I know some people are only here to hear me talk about this DUI update. So I'm gonna get into the DUI update and then we're gonna play. Y'all know how we do, okay? So first of all, I don't care what you hear about DUIs. I don't care what they say the law is changed on. I don't care if your blood, you refusing, it can be used against you at trial. It's still shut up and take the ride. Period. Okay. Stop giving evidence against yourself. And guess what? Just how I'm going to show y'all today how it goes wrong. So we're going to watch a video as well of a live DUI stop. And you're going to see just how this person continues to make it worse. So when you're pulled over, if you're in Georgia, we are an ID state. What that means is if the officer approaches the vehicle, asks for your license, asks you for your name, you must ID yourself. That is all you're required to do. After you identify yourself, shut up and take the ride. Okay, because 9 times out of 10, when you get pulled over, unless you're getting a citation for something quick, which I talked to a client yesterday and it started out being a citation and ended up being a whole full-on search with the K9 unit and he ended up in jail. But the point is, it's a high likelihood when police pull you over that whatever they investigate or search for will lead you to jail. You may get a citation. It doesn't matter. What comes out of your mouth is evidence that is used against you in court. So many times I get calls from clients and they're like, I know my rights. He did this wrong. They ain't read Miranda. And it's like, bruh, but you didn't, you didn't remain silent. And that's the best right you can have. So as we talk about it today, I don't care what I say about these laws, about how your blood refusal can be used against you at trial. Please, when pulled over by the police, shut the fuck up and take the ride, okay? All right. I know it's before 12, but we cuss over here, so you'll be fine. All right, so what happened on the 13th, which was that Friday? last week sometime. I'm all over the place. I can't remember what day it was. I think maybe Thursday. A case came down from the Georgia Supreme Court, and there were all of these news articles posted online saying that there was this new Georgia DUI law update. And your blood refusal to consent to a blood test at the side of the road during a DUI stop can be used at trial. Guess what, y'all? That was already the law. Okay. So that's been the rule. So nothing really changed, but I will go into what happened because the news used it in their cycle. And so it sparked a lot of debate and talk about this. And I saw a lot of misinformation in the comment sections on our news stories. So I wanted to jump in and correct it for y'all. All right. So y'all ready? Let me see who else is in here. Operation Sexy Body says, "Hey Fit, you look amazing. Thank you." So I don't know if y'all fit means, right, that we stay healthy. Health and wellness is a big deal here. Some of you all might not know my story. Back in 2020, I lost 150 pounds in a year, a month, and 12 days. Right? Okay, give me that. And I'm working on some more. So since the last time y'all saw me on YouTube, I'm down 20 pounds. Oh, I know y'all can see it. Y'all see it. Y'all see the collarbone and the neck popping a little more. So yes, Operation Sexy Body. Follow her on Instagram. She works out every morning, such an inspiration. And she also leads an accountability group. And I have been in that accountability group since last January. It has been amazing. Also, her husband, Dr. Joe, established the 40-day process, which is 40-day turn up. That's what it's called. It's a process that I came through back in 2020 that's still active today and virtual that assisted me in losing all the weight. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So y'all just wait. We're gonna have a meetup soon, and y'all just get to see it all. Y'all get to see it all the hard work. But yeah, so thank you for being here. And again, if you're just tuning in, I am watching the comments on YouTube only. If you're watching on Facebook, Instagram, if it worked, Twitter did not, then come on over here to YouTube if you have a question about our topic. All right, so let's get into it. So what happened last week? So last week, there was a case that was decided by the Supreme Court, and it was State versus Diaz. And this case basically had gone up because the trial court had suppressed the refusal of the blood test from Diaz in the trial court. So basically, there was a motion to suppress hearing, and the Diaz argued that her blood sample her refusal of giving blood should not be used against her at trial. The trial court agreed and suppressed that refusal. Well, the state then appealed it to the Court of Appeals. They felt like it was a constitutional question, so they sent it up to the Georgia Supreme Court. And that is who issued a decision last week. All right, so the trial court, like I said, they felt like the blood test was inadmissible. And Diaz argued in that case that basically she was invoking her right to, because the Fourth Amendment protects you from unlawful search and seizures. Okay. So they didn't have a warrant to get this blood. So she felt like refusing it was protecting her Fourth Amendment rights. They also, in that case, relied on Elliott and Olivic. Now, these are names you're not going to have to worry about. You get a good lawyer, they're going to know what this is. But those cases said that the refusal of a breath sample during a DUI investigation could not be used against you in court. So if you refuse to your breath being given during your DUI stop, it cannot be used against you in court. So in Diaz, they use that same theory and argument because shouldn't breath and blood be the same? And basically the trial court agreed, but the Supreme Court says no. They are saying in Elliott, we did not say that refusal, suppression of that refusal could apply to blood as well. We just said breath. So basically, go back to the trial court and let's come up with other reasons, right? But what the court did do, there was a concurring opinion. So like, remember a long time ago, I was saying you can look up on OCGA, right? And there's all the case law, all the rules, and we'll look at the DUI case law. But that doesn't really tell you how the law is applied. That comes from cases. So once cases are decided by higher courts, they tell us how to apply the written law. So basically, that's what happened on the 13th. So the court says, go back to the trial court, look at the constitutional issues because they weren't answered because that's not what we said in Elliott. So basically, you're refusing blood on the side of the road during a DUI stop can be used against you. But guess how I combat that at trial? Whenever that comes up, I just always ask the officer, well, why didn't you get a warrant? Because if I say no to a blood sample, you can always go get a warrant. So the fact that the officer didn't go get a warrant, you stop working, not me. I didn't do anything wrong. So then the jury can start looking at it differently. Like, well, why didn't the officer go get a warrant if it was just that simple? You can say no. He can get a warrant for your blood if he doesn't take that extra step. To me, I argue at trial that it's on the state. It was their job to get all of the evidence they needed to get to present against you at trial. So if they refuse to go get it, that's on them, not on you, right? So I keep refusing to give your blood, despite the fact that it can be used against you at trial. What does it mean? And that's what the concurring opinion said. They said that, well, the court should consider other options such as objection 403. And if you follow the YSL trial in this case, and shout out to objection 403 who was in the comments, if you follow, this was the most used objection during the entire YSL trial. We should have had a counter. Had we known at the beginning, I wish Law and Crime had put like a little counter in the corner because it would have been going up the entire time. So basically what the concurring judges were saying, and so these judges basically agree with the opinion, but they're saying, we agree, but I got a little extra I want to put on it. So in their concurring opinion, they were saying that they should maybe look at objection 403. And what that means is that the probative value of the evidence is substantially outweighed by the danger of unfair prejudice. So basically, them trying to bring in the fact that you refuse to consent to a blood search, what does that prove? What is that probative of? What does that show us? The concurring opinion is saying nothing, because you could have been too busy to stop and wait on all of that to happen. Because in order to give a blood sample, you have to be taken into custody, taken to the jail, taken before a nurse. If the agency that's pulling you over doesn't have a nurse back at the jail to do the blood draw, they have to take you to a hospital to have it done. So it takes a lot of time. And so maybe you're busy, maybe you're in a bad mood, running late. Like, there are so many other causes and reasons. So the court said maybe 403 would work. So basically go back to the trial court. So there was no real change in how Georgia DUI law is done. We were all waiting on this decision though, because like I said, the breath refusal cannot be used against you at trial, but as it stands today, blood still can. But it doesn't matter, because what did Fit tell you at the beginning? Shut up and take the rides. Do not give them evidence to use against you, okay? So I'm going to pause on the knowledge part. Let's look at the comment section and see what you all are saying. For always, forever, for life says, I can tell you lost more weight and you look great. Thank you, sis. Thank you. Thank you. Miss CBD says, thank you for the update. You are so welcome. Georgia laws are frightening. Yes. So it's so funny too, because whenever I have clients like from up north, especially like New York, because I guess New York doesn't prosecute nothing but murders and child sex crimes with Olivia. They're always surprised like how strict the South is. Like, this is the Bible Belt, okay? And DUIs are our most serious misdemeanors. So it's almost, they prosecute it, they don't play when it comes to the DUIs. So yes, Georgia laws are frightening to many, but as long as you know your rights, then you're better off. And it's always shut up and take the ride, okay? Miss CBD says, question, if we refuse to do anything and take the ride, will you really lose your license for a year? I'm going to get into that. So that's coming up next. So stay tuned, because that's what they fall on, right? They tell you you're going to lose your license. If you don't submit, this is going to happen. But y'all, guess what? Always remember, you have to have due process. So there is never going to be a situation where you get arrested for DUI and your license is suspended the next day. There is due process. So don't fall for it. And I'm going to teach you how not to, because we're going to look at all of that. All right. So we went over what happened last week. So it really wasn't as big as the news tried to make it seem, but that's what happened. So we'll be on the lookout. This case will go back to the trial court. They'll make whatever decisions. If it doesn't go the state's way or the defense's way, one of them, I'm sure, will appeal, because we want the Georgia Supreme Court to rule on this. We want them to make a decision, set a precedent, give us the law on it. And I honestly don't understand what the difference is between breath and blood, although they did try to explain it a little bit in the Elliott case, but didn't make sense to me. So we'll see where that goes. All right, so let's just get into this. So you're driving, you're pulled over, the officers approach the vehicle and they start to say, hey, where are you coming from? Have you been out drinking? If this is like 1, 2 in the morning, I don't know. You may be coming from your grandmama's house. I always say you're coming from church. If you feel like you got to say some, church, okay? But you don't have to answer that. You don't have to tell them where you're coming from. Only thing you have to do in Georgia is provide your identification. You literally can shut up when they come to the car, slide your license out that door, and that's it. Now, I'm not saying that they won't ask for more, they won't press you, they may even try to make you feel like the fact that you're being quiet and is showing them that you're hiding something. I don't care. Do not give them evidence against you, okay? So most times they'll walk back after they get your license. They'll go back to the police car. They'll run your license. There are tag readers now. So if you had a warrant pending and you're the registered owner of the car, they already know that by the time they pull you over. So they're gonna go back, have the dispatch run your license. And sometimes they'll call DUI task force to the scene if they're not trained themselves, or sometimes they'll go through it themselves. All right. So they come back to the car and they ask you to step out. At that point, you want to talk. You want to start saying, what's going on? Why are you making me get out? I don't understand. I don't have anything in the car. Your breath is coming out of your mouth. So if you have been drinking, breath is coming onto the officer. You're giving evidence against yourself. So shut up. Listen to what they have to say. Most times it'll start with, well, where are you coming from? Have you had anything to drink? Well, and if you refuse to answer those questions, they're next going to ask you, would you like to participate in any field sobriety tests? We're going to watch a video on that. And I'm also going to show you some slides from their training manual. And hopefully, after we look at all of that, you'll realize why I'm telling you not to do any of the tests. One, it's not a pass or fail, right? People always call me. They're like, Fit, I passed the test. I don't know why you locked me up. He did the first test and I passed it. And it's not a pass or fail. So right then, you don't know what you're speaking about. So why would you participate in a test that you don't understand and don't know anything about? And also, guys, it's not designed for you to pass. Okay. They're not. They're divided attention tests. The first test is the HGN test, which is actually a test they use to test your eyes. It's not even anything that you can do to make yourself do good or bad on this test. If you have alcohol in your system, science says, they say, that your eyes will do an involuntary jerking. So that's what they're checking for. It's called nystagmus. And there's horizontal nystagmus that they're checking for to see if you have alcohol, and vertical nystagmus to see if you're under the influence of drugs. But do not participate in these tests. They give off clues. One, the officer could be doing it wrong. The officer can say he sees a clue, and who's going to dispute that? Because not a lot of times we can't see on the body cam if you truly have a nystagmus or not, because the way you're facing or positioned. So it really comes down to just officer credibility, which we always know that that's not always 100%. Okay. Anybody that's married to an officer, dated an officer, knows an officer, knows that nobody in their life tells the truth 100% of the time. I actually had a case out in Gwinnett. This is probably like 7 years ago. Just so happens the body cam hits my client's face and eyes perfectly. So you literally could see there was no nystagmus on the tape. Okay. So as I'm watching it, I sent it to my expert. He was like, no, I don't see it either. I sent it to I called the prosecutor. Shout out to the solicitor in Gwinnett. I called her, and as soon as I said the officer's name, she said, stop. I already know we have a problem with him. I'll reduce this. I'll dismiss the DUI. So, sometimes you can kind of do things wrong on the side, right? Because you did participate in the test and your attorney can still find ways to get it out. But this test is just the officer's statement. He's saying, I did this test correctly, and these are the clues I find. And it's like, why go through that when it's something that nobody can really check? Just don't do the test, y'all. All right, so let me show you. All right, let me share. So this is a PowerPoint. And let's see. Okay, so what I did was, hold on, I think I got to share it first. Okay, share. All right, and then start. I need an assistant. Like, I got to talking and looking in the camera. I need somebody else to run all of this. One day. All right. So, because I can't. Okay. Hold on, y'all. Because I can. Okay, there we go. Okay. So you see this on the screen. I can't make it bigger because then I can't see myself. All right. So this is it. So I just want to show you nystagmus. This is what they're looking for when the involuntary jerking of the eyes. All right, so these vertical nystagmus, the one I mentioned, this is when they're looking for drugs, right? I want y'all just to see like what they're looking to see if your eyes do that jerking. Okay, so that's that test. Then they go to like the divided attention test, and that's the walk and turn and the one leg stand. I know y'all heard this in the middle of the stop, and I don't know why y'all try to do this. I have no clue. Cause you can. Like, what is a walk and turn? What's the one leg stand? Like, how you do it? How you do it? Y'all swear y'all do this test and you do it right, right? And it's never done right. These are the clues they're looking for, and this is why we tell you don't do the test. So on a walk and turn, they want to know, can you keep your balance while listening to instructions? Half of y'all don't even stand still as they're trying to tell you the test. You could, because you don't realize that when the officer said get in this position and stand there and do not start before I say start, that was part of the test. Okay, that's part of the test. So if you get in that position and start moving and you talking while he's trying to give instructions, you already got a clue there. You start too soon. A lot of y'all watch TV, Law and Order, so you're like, oh, I know how to do the walk and turn. So when the cops get you on the side of the road, you're like, oh, I got this. Before he finishes the instructions, guess what? You just gave another clue. Okay, so stop it, please. All right. Stops while walking is number 3. That's natural, right? If you're doing something you've never done, a lot of people will just like take a couple steps and kind of, am I doing it right? Got you for a clue. You're asking questions and you're stopping. You don't touch heel to toe. The test is called walk and turn, but they tell you to walk heel to toe, which is not natural, I guess, unless you're in the military. But if your heel and toe do not touch exactly on all 9 steps, that is a clue. Do you see how this is very hard to pass? Use arms to balance. If you move your arms up and down to balance yourself as you're walking, that's a clue. There's this little funky military turn. They tell you to take out 9 steps, then you turn like a pivot turn, right? And you got to take 2 little steps as you pivot turn back around and start back walking. Y'all, oh, that's a clue. If you mess this turn up, it's a clue. Y'all should see the pirouettes. It's a clue. Incorrect number of steps. I had one guy, and I actually won this case, okay? He was doing the walk and turn. They tell you to take 9 steps. He was on 32. Y'all, he never stopped walking. He never stopped walking. But guess what? We won that case. So do not do these tests, because even though I'm telling you what they're looking at, don't even try to internalize it. Just know these are 8 reasons why you should not do the walk and turn. All right. The one leg stand. These are the clues they're looking at. Swaying while balancing. Who can stand on one leg and balance? The little secret is they have like a little slight bend to the knee, but they're not going to tell you that because they're not trying to help you. They are trying to find evidence to use against you in court. So on the one leg stand, they're looking at, are you swaying while balancing, using your arms to balance, hopping, do you put a foot down? Like, those are all natural things. Just like stand up wherever you are now and try. Stand on one leg and see if you're able to do it without swaying. Have you been drinking? I mean, it's 11:26. I think we're all pretty much not sober. Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, don't do the test, okay? So these are the reasons we tell you, because who can pass this? Like, these officers are sent to training, and I have seen officers on tape stumble while they're trying to show my client. So I'm like, are you drinking? Are you under the influence? Because that's what you said, right? That's what you said the test is supposed to show. So yeah, definitely do not do these tests, okay? And Miss CDB had a great question earlier, right? Because we always hear, if you don't do the test, they're going to suspend your license, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm telling you, that is not how it works. You do have to go to court first, okay? All right, so let me go back to the chat, see if there's any questions. Let's see what y'all talking about now. Y'all talking about Karen. I know the most famous DUI that we all just saw recently was Karen Hooger, right? And she has now been sentenced to a year in jail. Can y'all believe that? So that was a live I did January, New Year's Eve. So go check that one out because that was really good. But she did a lot of talking, if you all remember that video when the cops got her out. Sometimes if you have alcohol in your system or whatever, 2 a.m, just not knowing the stuff coming out of your mouth, you're really not proud about when you see it back on tape. So it's never good to talk. And let me just put a plug here in. This is not a live that says, oh, I'm teaching you how to drink and drive in Georgia, because I don't want you on the roads killing me either. So no, if you're under the influence, you should not be driving. But a lot of times in these stops, that's not the case. And people get falsely arrested or falsely accused for DUI when they have no alcohol in their system. I see it every day. So I am trying to give you your rights so you can protect yourself on the side of the road during these stops. So don't do anything. So when you hire an attorney, once you bond out, we have something to work with. Okay. Um, Perfect Peace says, sometimes I binge on these body cam videos. It's unbelievable sometimes. Thank you, Fit, for covering this. So right. I'm going to show one of those body cams. And I just went to YouTube and said DUI videos. And there are tons of them. And they're all showing how people should just shut up. Okay. For Always Forever for Life says, I've practiced these watching body cam videos and I haven't been drinking and I couldn't do this test. Exactly. You can't, like, you can't. They're divided attention tests. You can't do these tests. So you shouldn't be trying to prove if you can do them or not on the side of the road. Say that for a party game at the house with your friends. Okay. On the side of the road, we don't do the test. All right. So I see another question on that license suspension. So we're going to get into it. All right. So what happens? You're on the side of the road, right? Officer asked you to do all these field sobriety tests. You didn't listen to Fit, so you did the test. All right, so you didn't pass, right? Now you see why. Now, it's not a pass or fail. So now the officer is asking you to participate. Sometimes they do this, a preliminary breath test, where they'll have like a little machine for you to blow on the side of the road. That test is a preliminary breath test. It is not the scientific test that is at the jail. It is simply used to find out if there's alcohol in your system. So if you take that test and it comes into court, they can't say the number that it gives out. And this is all Georgia law. That's the only place I practice. But they can say whether or not it was positive or negative for alcohol. Why would you do that test? All right. If you know you've been drinking, it's going to say they work. The test work. So don't do it. It's going to say positive for alcohol and you're just giving more evidence against yourself because the law says you cannot drive to the point that you're a less safe driver or under the influence over the legal limit, which is 0.08. So what if you're like 0.03, 0.04? Don't do the test. The positive or negative for alcohol, you already know that. So don't give them more evidence to use against you in court. All right. And then after they ask you for that, then they probably will place you in custody. But I want to show you one more thing. In their own training manual, when they talk about this test, look what this says. Possible factors affecting high preliminary breath tests. Listerine, Altoids, and cough syrup. What y'all do when y'all see the cops? You pop an Altoid. What did you do when you showered this morning? You brushed your teeth, you used some Listerine, you left to go to work. What if you swerving on the road and get pulled over on the way to work? And now you smell alcohol-y, but it's really Listerine. See, this is in their training manual. I pulled this from their manual. And this is 3 things that they say can cause a high test. So why would you even do it when there are things that you can just innocently take that would make the test higher? There's another reason not to do the test. So I'm telling you, don't do the test. All right. So now everybody worried about this whole license going to be suspended. So let me show you why you don't need to be concerned with that and why it's not automatic. Y'all, when I tell you, I download everything so we can cover it together. Where are all my, hold on, we're coming. All right. So cover state PDS. Okay, implied consent. All right. So this is where y'all talking about the whole suspension, and this is how they scare you, and this is how people, no matter how much I tell you, don't blow. I mean, I have people with 1 DUI, 2 DUIs. I'm like, don't do anything. And they're like, but they said my license. And I'm like, all right. So this is what they're talking about. So once they got you in the back of the police car, because the law says that you were supposed to be arrested prior to officers reading this. Although I just had a case down in Lowndes County and the officer read it first. But anyway, that's when you let your lawyer get involved. But implied consent. And I'm only going to read the notice for suspects over 21, but there is one for younger, but you shouldn't be drinking anyway. So y'all got a whole different set of rules and things to be concerned about. But the adults here, all right? So this implied consent, this is read after you're arrested. So it says, the state of Georgia has conditioned your privilege to drive upon the highways of this state upon your submission to state-administered chemical tests of your blood, breath, urine. So basically they're saying that your condition to drive, your privilege to drive in Georgia is conditioned upon you submitting to these tests. That's what that says, okay? And these tests are used for the purpose of determining if you are under the influence of alcohol or drugs. If you refuse this testing, your Georgia driver's license or privilege to drive on the highways of this state will be suspended for a minimum period of 1 year. And remember, I always say, we don't go talk to the cops. We don't go talk to the police because they can lie to you. Because what this sentence should say is may. It should have a may in there, okay? Because this is not an automatic suspension. So I'm going to finish it and then we'll discuss. It says your refusal to submit to blood or urine. You see how breath is left out because the law changed, right? Your refusal to submit to blood or urine testing may be offered into evidence against you at trial. If you submit to testing and the results indicate an alcohol concentration of 0.08 grams or more, your Georgia driver's license or privilege to drive on the highways of this state may be suspended for a minimum period of 1 year. After first submitting to the requested state test, you are entitled to additional chemical tests of your blood, breath, urine, or other bodily substances at your own expense and from qualified personnel of your own choosing. Will you submit to the state administered chemical test of your, and they'll insert whatever. I've been practicing for 20 years, never seen urine X for. So most times it would be blood or breath. If the officers have been trained, they are no longer asking for breath, but a ton of them are because there are a lot of untrained officers making these stops. So they will, because if you refuse breath, right, it can't be used against you at trial, which is why a lot of officers have stopped asking for it and only ask for blood. But anyway, so that's that whole thing. This is called the implied consent law. So it's so confusing because you hear that, oh, so if I don't, and some of you all will even question the officer. So if I don't do this, then my license is going to be suspended for a year. They will never answer. They will just reread this paragraph, or they will just write it down and say you refuse. Okay. And that's because that is not how it works. I'm not sure why they are allowed to say this unless it just falls into the whole thing. Cops can lie to you, right? Because it's not an automatic. What does happen when you refuse? You get one of these. And this is the back of it, which no one ever reads the back. It's called a DDS 1205. So let me blow this up so you all can see this. Y'all see this form? This is what the officer will give you if you refuse, or if you do blow or give your blood and you're over 0.08, although they will not have a blood result back that quickly. But if you blow and you're over 0.08, or if you refuse, you will get this form. And this is called a DDS 1205 form. This is a temporary driving permit. A lot of y'all get this form and you just ball it up, put it in your pocket, toss it somewhere. Don't have it when you call me. This is your temporary driving permit. This says at the bottom, this is a valid temporary driving permit for a period of 30 days from the incident date above, if signed by the arresting officer. This is not a temporary driving permit if the license has been suspended, canceled, or revoked, but you haven't gotten there yet. So when they give you this form, this is saying that they intend to ask the state of Georgia to suspend your license while your criminal DUI case is pending. This is not criminal form. This is a civil form. So this form references, and at the bottom it says DS 1205. DDS is Department of Driver Services. So Driver Services 1205 is the name of this form. And this form is what officers will give you if you refuse to take the test, or if you take a breath sample and it's over the legal limit. Some officers will do it then. They'll take your license and they'll give you this form. And they'll tell you, you can drive on this form until you go to court. That's all they really say. They're not nice enough to tell you to flip the form over. And so many people don't flip it over. And on the back, it explains all of your rights. And so on this form, it tells you that you have an appeals procedure. It says that if you choose to request a ignition interlock device limited permit, which we're not doing, but if you want to appeal this suspension, that you have 30 days to request that. And so you have 30 days to request an appeal of your license being suspended. So it's not an automatic thing. So when the attorneys tell you, do not submit, we know the law. It is not automatic. What does happen a lot of times is that people don't ever flip this form over. Okay. You all get it and you just tuck it in and you go about your business. And maybe your criminal case court date in for 6 months, or they told you to come in the mail. So you ain't thinking about it no more. But this civil form that you received is a different process and places your license up for an administrative license suspension in Georgia. So you only have 30 days from the day of your arrest to request this hearing. It costs $150. You take it to DDS, or you can hire a skilled attorney like myself, and we will request this for you. And at that hearing, then we get to fight about your license. But during that time, your license is still valid. So there is not an automatic suspension to your license if they want to make you think, because that's just not what the law says, okay? Due process. Remember, everything has to have due process. That's why Trump's orders firing everybody are getting overturned, because due process. You got to have due process, all right? So this is why what I say is true, and it's because you can request this ALS hearing, and if you do so within 30 days, you have a chance to fight for your license, okay? And because you didn't give any evidence, now when I come to court, what is the officer going to say? I pulled this person over and we talked, and they can't say that you admitted to drinking because you didn't say nothing. They can't say that you admitted to coming from the bar because you didn't say anything. If you stop talking, a lot of times they won't even have odor really from your breath because you didn't talk much. You didn't do any field sobrieties, and you didn't do the preliminary breath test on the side of the road. So why are we here? That's when we can really get in there and start doing some good lawyer work and get this shit thrown out, okay? Dear World Question says, I've heard that too. Okay, so this was it. Bev Taylor, shout out for the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Bev Taylor says, I've heard that ketogenic diet can cause a false positive due to ketones in breath. Yep. Along with other things, which are reasons why you shouldn't submit to the test. Because, baby, you're not gonna be able to come in court talking about I was on the keto diet. Judge, I was on keto. And this is why, why go through all of that? Because had you not given the test, we wouldn't have anything to talk about. So I'm telling you, do not submit to any of these tests. Forever, for always, forever, for life. Girl, I'm gonna change your name. Wow, sneaky how they don't tell you to turn the form over. Yeah, they don't tell you to turn the form over. You'll be surprised. Sometimes cops forget to do the damn forms, and I'm the one that has to tell the client, okay, if he took your license, then he probably submitted this form, so we need to go ahead and submit a request for a hearing, even though you don't have a copy of that form, because that is what's supposed to happen. And y'all would just be surprised. I have a case pending right now in DeKalb County, which is a county here in Georgia, and it was an accident case. So there are like 4 cars in this accident. The officer's on body cam saying he can't tell who caused the accident, but he heard or one person smelled like alcohol. So that's who he was going to cite. Where they do that at? And then when he goes to speak to her and determines that a DUI investigation should follow, they call a second officer to the scene. Guess what, y'all? That officer wasn't even trained. Because I tell you, I work with an expert on these cases, okay? So I had his jacket pulled. Y'all, he didn't even get trained on how to do DUI investigation until 2 months after the arrest. So why were they even calling him to the scene? No clue. But these are the games they play. So my client doubled down. She didn't do anything. She didn't submit to the test. And we have a great chance of winning that case when we go to court next month. So just listen to what I'm saying, y'all. I know a lot of times you get in front of cops, you get accused of something, and you want to start defending yourself. You want to start proving that I'm not drunk, I'm not this. And being drunk is not even the balance here, okay? It's, are you over the legal limit to the point that you're a less safe driver, or are you under the influence over 0.08, which is our legal limit? So that's what they look for. Dear Road Christian, shout out. And I'm gonna be calling you when I get done. I sent that text this morning before I went to court. But this is another amazing YouTube creator. So if anyone of my mods are in the chat, if you could post the link to Dear Woke Christian's page in the chat, I would greatly appreciate it. All right, so Dear Woke Christian, thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, Judge, I was on keto getting my summer slim down. Help me keep my wallet fat since my waistline isn't. Help your boy. Okay. Wait, Judge is They ain't trying to hear that. Now I'm sure if you were to like go to trial and we had to fight, we may be able to use that, bring a dietitian in or bring my expert in that can say that, right? And convince a jury. But that's tens, thousands of dollars down the line. When if you had just shut up, we wouldn't even be here. So shut up and take that ride. All right. I love it. Thank you so much, dear old Christian. SB says, hey, Fit. I'm her says, hey, y'all. Shout out. Shout out. So that's what's going on here. So that's where that whole 1 year comes from. It's not an automatic suspension for people who can tell you like, oh man, I got pulled over. Don't listen to her. My license got suspended. It's because they did not request that hearing in 30 days. And you will be surprised how many people miss that hearing. Okay. So once you miss that hearing, you refused, your license will be suspended for a year. How can you get your license back sooner? And I had to do that before. If your criminal case is resolved in a different way than a DUI, then that goes away. So the ALS suspension only applies to DUI. So I had a case, where was that? Houston County. And the client called me. We had a consultation, but y'all like to play games and wait too late. So by the time he hired me, it was past the 30 days. So his license is automatically suspended. Like they don't give you 31, 32. Like it might not show up in the system today, 45. But if we miss that 30 days, it's a wrap. He missed it. It was a wrap. So his license gets suspended. He hires me. I was able to get the prosecutor to resolve the cases of reckless driving like about 4 months after I was hired. So he got his license back. What was that? 8 months early? All right. So you only had to sit out a 4-month suspension because once the DUI was dismissed, reckless is how it was resolved, and the whole ALS stuff goes away and your license is released. So that is a way that you can save it if you happen to, for some reason, miss that 30 days. Now, if you do blow, right, and you do a breath test, this officer asks for breath and you give it and it's over the legal limit of 0.08, and he takes your license and gives you this form and you forget, it's only a 30-day suspension because you didn't refuse. However, while that can seem like, oh, it's just 30 days if I blow, it's evidence to use against you in court. So guess what? That over 0.08 that you were so excited about that you gave because your license was saved in the ALS, when you go to your criminal case and they whip it out in court, and now I can't get a reckless because you blew and your limit is like 0.12 or 0.18, now that's coming back to bite you and your license is going to be suspended for a year in a criminal case. But there are ways you can get a temporary permit in that case, but you don't even want to have to get to that point. All right. So just follow me, take my advice, and don't do any of that stuff. All right. So before we wrap this up, we have been live for about 42 minutes now. Thank you. If you've been watching, enjoying, make sure you hit the like button. I am going to show you a DUI stop because I think let me show you one more thing. I'm going to show you the DUI code section, and then I'm going to show you this video so we can just see how and why it goes so wrong. For those of you all who don't already binge on these videos. So this is the infamous OCGA, which shows you our code section. And I'm just going to show you. Try to make it big enough so you all can see it. But okay, there we go. All right. So this is the DUI code section. It's 46391 in Georgia. And this is what it's all about. So like nowhere in here is it going to say that we're looking for you to be falling down drunk, all of that. It simply says a person shall not drive or be in actual physical control of any moving vehicle while. And so this throws people off too, that whole actual physical control. What does that mean? Because y'all like to say like, well, I was standing outside the car when the cop pulled up, but you like on the side of the highway. How you get there? Or y'all like to say, I was sleeping in the car. I wasn't driving. I was just sleeping. But if you have the keys, then that means you're in physical control of that vehicle. So, all right. Under the influence of alcohol to the extent that it is less safe for the person to drive. So this right here, subsection 1 doesn't even mention a level, right? It's less safe to drive. What does that mean? They're using clues, circumstantial evidence to argue that you're less safe to drive. That's so like, what does that mean? What makes me less safe? They're gonna look at everything. How did you drive? Were you swerving over the road? Were you failing to maintain your lane? Speeding is not one. What else? Are you like driving weird. Like, I don't know if you're driving manifestations, that's what they're first looking for. And there's a whole list, but this ain't school, y'all. Just want to keep it simple. So they're looking at that. Then when you come to the car and they're talking to you and you say, oh yeah, I left the bar. Oh yeah, I had two. And y'all always kill me with the 2 drinks. What the fuck? I just had 2 drinks or 1 beer. It's either 2 drinks or 1 beer. It's like, y'all think like that's gonna help. Like, and then you're like, what's the drinks? I heard somebody say Long Island. I'm like, damn, it's like 7 liquors in it. So like, just don't say anything, okay? But that when you say, oh, I had 2 drinks or I had a beer, so now you've admitted to drinking, you've admitted being to an establishment that sells alcohol, and he's gonna say you smell like alcohol. Then you're gonna go back there and do all the tests, and he's gonna use all of those clues. And so while they don't have an actual number, they're gonna use all of that evidence to say circumstantially we can prove that you were a less safe driver, and that's all it takes, and you be guilty of DUI. So do you see where we're going? Don't do anything. Subsection 2 says under the influence of any drug to the extent that is less safe. So it's alcohol or drugs. 3, under the intentional influence of any glue, aerosol, or other toxic vapor. Yeah, I haven't ever had a case where someone was hyped up on glue, but I guess that's what y'all out there doing. 4 is under the combined influence of any 1 through 3. So basically alcohol, drugs, or the other glue, aerosol, or toxic vapor. 5 is the person's alcohol concentration is 0.08 or more. That's the legal limit in Georgia, okay? 0.08 or more at any time within 3 hours after driving. So that's when the time period comes in, but 0.08. So you see how like it's not even about a number. It's about you being less safe, which is why I say don't do any of these tests. Marie Jackson says, I got a DUI without being in the vehicle. I was at somebody's house. It's crazy. I know not to say anything anymore. Look at that. Mario wasn't even in the car. Wasn't even in the car, but I bet you they were like, you just drove and got out the car and came in here. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't even in the car. Isn't that crazy? Crazy. So, yes, it was probably a lot of words, a lot of stuff said on the side, said to the officers that they were able to use against him that placed him in that car in the appropriate time. But if he hadn't said anything, he might not have a DUI conviction. So shout out Mario. Thank you for chiming in on that, because people are still, they're kind of doubtful. They don't want to listen to Fit. I'm trying to tell them. I'm trying to save them. So that's the DUI law. All right. So we're going to go watch this video. Oh, we do not want to hit that stop screen. All right. I almost said leave studio. That would have been tragic. All right. So lastly, but certainly not least, I'm going to show y'all. So let me see. Is there any questions before I go to this video? Like, are y'all here? Are y'all feeling me? Like, are you learning? Are you finally trusting what I'm saying? Mario's already told y'all, hey, he wasn't even damn driving. He was in a house and they ended up giving him a DUI. Dr. Kennedy says, true, ketone diet causes false results. Wow. Y'all, let me add Dr. Kennedy to my expert list if I ever have. So if y'all on keto and you blew or you gave some blood or whatever, come holler at me. Me and Dr. Kennedy, we got you. That's good to know. I had never thought about the keto. I haven't had to argue that. All right. So let me see. All right. So let's go to this video and let me make sure I have that keto right. All right, let me close these tabs. I think I got that over here. All right, okay. Presents, share. I have to do the tab. Oh, there we go. So y'all can hear the sound. All right, there we go. All right, let's get this playing.
Complaints. Where were you before quick check?
This is where it started. She's already been.
What were you doing there?
I was just going home.
From where?
Pompton Lakes.
What were you doing at Pompton Lakes?
I was just going home.
You were going home? Do you have anything to drink tonight?
No.
Any alcohol? None?
No.
None at all?
No.
You take any drugs? No? Nothing illegal? Nothing like that?
No.
Okay. You're not coming from a bar or anything like that?
No.
See, I told y'all to coming from a bar. That's how they try to figure out. He's gonna keep asking as many questions as he can ask because he's trying to get her to say something. So because he doesn't know how this is gonna go. So he doesn't know yet if she's gonna give a test, if she's gonna cooperate. So at this beginning of it, he's trying to get as much evidence out of her, as much information as she can give about it. She already talking way too dang on much because you can tell the more she keeps talking, she's doing this. Her ass should have stayed in the car, handed the license, and that's it. Even if they ask you to step out, you stay in once, you stay there, and I'm, invoking my right to remain silent. And that's it. Okay, let's keep watching.
Anything in the car? I don't think I did. You sure you don't have anything to drink tonight? I'm running a fishing test, okay? What was your name again?
Laura.
Laura?
Okay.
What's in your mouth?
Nothing.
Stick your tongue in. What's your highest level of education?
Backwards.
All that stick your tongue out, what's in your mouth? He's just trying to older, see if she had something. I mean, like, doing way too much. He's just looking. He's not doing anything to help you. He's only asking questions so he can get evidence to use against you.
Bachelor's? So you don't have any issues with the English alphabet or counting numbers? Nothing like that? No problem? Starting with the letter B and stopping at the letter K. Recite the alphabet. Okay?
C-E-D-E-F-G-H-K.
Okay.
Right there. We don't even do that. We do not do that. Did you see me go over anything about an alphabet? Okay. That a lot of these officers that aren't trained on the new DUI stuff, or just they hear about DUIs, or hell, they watch videos like y'all do. What's the alphabet? What is that? It's people that I could pull over right now. Sober as I don't know what. They don't know the damn alphabet. It's grown people that can't read and write. Like, why is he asking her the alphabet? That has nothing to do with it, but that's how they do. That's how they get you. You start playing with the alphabet game, and as soon as you go past a letter they ask you to stop at or whatever, now it's the issue.
Starting on the number 52 and counting backwards, stopping on the number 36. Got
51.
Yep, go ahead.
50.
Count backwards from 52 to 36. Fuck is that? That is not a field sobriety test. He's just making up shit on the side of the road for her to participate in, and then watch when she messes up, she get worse.
69, 68, 67, 66,
Mm-hmm.
65, 64, 63, 64, 63, 62, 60, 69, 60.
Okay, you can stop.
59.
You can stop. You can stop. You have any injuries on your hands?
No way.
Okay. I'm going to demonstrate. I want you to look at my hand.
Okay.
I'm going to show you what to do, and then I want you to do it. Don't start until I tell you to start, okay?
See how he said don't start till I tell you to start? That's where y'all be messing up. That's where y'all be messing up, because they say it so quick. They're so used to doing this, they just blah, 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 blah. And it's the first time you're hearing this, you're like, wait, what are you saying to do? What?
Okay.
You're going to keep touching each fingertip to each thumb. It's going to look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's one rotation. I want you to do that 3 times. Do you understand?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Y'all just can't. What is he doing? Like, I don't understand. 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. He's just fucking with her, like giving her all of these divided attention tests for her to take. Like, these are not national highway. Like, that's a national organization. NHTSA has field sobriety test linked. He's just throwing stuff at her.
Go ahead. Okay, you can stop. Have a seat on the front of this right here. Do you have a glass eye?
No.
So now we get ready for the real test. Okay, these are the field sobriety tests that I discussed. Now he's getting ready to start those.
And you just wear glasses. You're not wearing contacts right now? Okay. Right now I'm going to check your eyes. Okay. See the tip of this pen? See the tip of it? Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to bring it back and forth. I want you to follow with your eyes and your eyes only, keeping your head straight. Do you understand? You understand? Okay. Tilt your head down a little bit. Just keep it straight. Yep. Just look like that. Okay.
And y'all starting to see where this is going. Like, the longer she participates, I'm like, she is zooted on something. I don't know what, right? But I wouldn't feel that way had she been shutting up and just taking this ride. But every little thing you do, the minute they start talking to you and stuff, you're just giving them evidence to use against you, okay?
Okay. One more time. I'm going to go up now. Okay.
Yes, I see it. Yes.
You're willing to do the test.
Yes.
Okay. Just do as best you can.
1, 2, 3.
Y'all see arms, her arms moving. That's a clue. She's not, I don't know what the feet are doing. They aren't heel toe. They like sideways and perpendicular. Yeah, that's a clue. She's doing her little swaying. That's a clue. Why did she do the test? Why are we here? Why is she doing all of this, right?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Y'all see this officer right here? Oh, he's so sweet. He keep jumping trying to save her because he thinks she's about to bust her ass. Which is why she shouldn't be doing the test.
10, 11.
All right, you may begin whenever you're ready.
1, 2,
Now she's trying to do the one leg stand now. So that's where we are now.
3, 4.
Yeah, stop.
All right.
I'm sorry. We gotta go back. What the heck? She almost hopped off the screen.
9, 10, 11.
All right, you may begin whenever you're ready.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, stop.
All right, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, continue. But if you're gonna fall, don't.
1.
She did the one leg hop, okay? All more reason why you shouldn't be doing these tests, right? What if you clumsy? Like, my mama ain't got no rhythm, okay? She couldn't do a one leg stand, sober, coffee. If I trained her for 2 hours, she would not be able to do this, okay? So why is she trying, okay? You see her hopping all around. The officers keep jumping, trying to save her, like all of this stuff. Now, if she gets to the point where she doesn't blow, so what? All of this stuff right here that she's done prior is circumstantial evidence that can be used against her in court.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, you can stop.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Turn around, you may place under arrest. Your driver wants to ask you.
I'm sorry, sir.
Just like that. He said, I'm placing you under arrest. He didn't even ask for a preliminary breath test. She didn't damn near broke her neck 10 times out here. They didn't even ask for the preliminary test. He's like, I think I got enough. What he's saying by making the arrest at this point, he feels like he could go to court right now because you could still refuse the test. And he has enough to show to the court that you were driving under the influence of alcohol or whatever he chooses. I don't know if he smelled alcohol or if he's just going to say drugs, but he has enough. Why? Because she didn't hop 20 times when it was a one leg stand. She never hit heel toe. She was swaying, the balance, all of that stuff these are voluntary tests. You don't have to do them. At the beginning, the officer would have said, would you like to participate? It's always a question because you do not have to do them. They're voluntary. You can refuse. I saw a great point someone said up here. Mr. Big Play Bray. Hey, Big Play Bray. He says, my uncle told me when I was young, always keep a lawyer on retainer and let them do their job. Okay, I'm trying to tell you. How you help me help you. Help me help you. So she gets arrested. He's placed under arrest.
10-4. Have a seat.
Walk right down.
Go butt first. Yeah. Slide in and then prop your feet up. Okay, there you go. Go straight that way. All right, this is just another form that this is just for a warning for because she's underage and this.
Oh, you see how they gave her a warning? Man, this shit just pissed me off. They didn't gave her Lily. Oh man, that pissed me off. Anyway, y'all see it where it was going, right? So they end up giving her a warning and letting her go to her mom. That shit is not happening for your black ass in Atlanta, okay? Your ass is going to jail. So did y'all see how she gave all that evidence against herself? Like, do not do it. She lucked out in this case because they felt sorry and turned her back over to her mom. We going to jail, okay? Y'all going to jail and y'all calling me. Yes, you can say no. So they'll ask you, hey, we got some voluntary field sobrieties. Would you like to participate? No, I'm good. No. I literally had a case where the person slid her license through the slit in the window after the cop approached her vehicle, and that's all she said. She didn't say nothing else. She didn't make them like pull her out the car. So when they said, "Ma'am, step out the car," she stepped out. She put her hands behind her back, but she never opened her mouth again. And when the prosecutor got the case, he was like, "Man, what I'm gonna do with this?" Dismiss. We won because she didn't provide any evidence. Okay, Lil Mac Mills came in late. Cause you're going to jail regardless. Okay, you're going to jail regardless. There is nothing you can do when a DUI investigation starts that's going to get you out. You know why? The breathalyzer, not intoxilizer 9,000 that they have to use to do your breath is at the jail. The nurse that can draw your blood is at the jail. So like, what you mean? You going to jail? Yes, you're going to jail regardless. When that blue light hits you, it's a good chance you're going to jail regardless. The only time you don't is when the officer just deems that whatever you did was citation worthy, like speeding, and it stops there. But if it's like 1 a.m, 2 a.m, 12 at night, 10 at night, you get pulled over and you're like, "Oh yeah, you were swerving back there. What's going on?" Ding, ding, ding. Start. Remember this. Remember Fitz said, "Shut up," because it's not going to go good. I have never had a DUI case or seen or heard of somebody who talked themselves out of the DUI because you're giving evidence the entire time. And the blood sample that you could provide to prove yourself not under the influence, or the breath sample, can't be given on the side of the road. So nowhere but jail. So it's a great likelihood you're going. So if you talk or not. So it's better when you don't talk so that you can hurry bond out, hire an attorney, and we can go ahead and get this behind you because you didn't give them any evidence. You do those tests, you're going to be just like this girl. You're going to be getting now she was let go to her parents, which doesn't just happen all the time. Okay. So, but she was still placed under arrest for DUI because she did all the tests. She didn't admit to drinking, but by her performance on the test, it was kind of clear Shawty might have been under a little something, or under the influence of something. Okay. So take my advice. Yeah, so I hope you all have learned a lot. This has been a great little power hour. We have went over the DUI case update recently in Georgia. I've broken down DUIs. I've given you like every reason I can think of is why you should not submit to these tests. I hope you all listen so that if you ever are placed in this position again, you do things that can help you and not hurt your case. So before I get out of here and go to the office to work on some more DUIs, does anybody have any questions? Any questions? I'll go through and see if I see anything. Yes. So for Always Forever for Life was answering Meek. I was about to say Meek Mills, Mac Mills. You have the right to refuse a test. You do. They're voluntary. You do not have to take these. You can refuse a test. Will you go to jail? Probably so. Are you going to jail if you do the test? Probably so. Go to jail without giving evidence against yourself. That is the point. All right. Let me go back and see if I missed any good questions. All righty, y'all have any other questions in the chat? If not, I'm gonna get out of here and head on to the office. All right, let y'all get back to work. Before I go, I want to give a shout out to Bev Taylor for a $5 super chat and a great question. Shout out to Dear Woke Christian for a $5 super chat and a great question. And if this worked and you were able to see me on Facebook, thanks for watching. And if you were able to tune in on IG, thanks for watching. It was my first time trying to stream at other locations. So I'm gonna go back and see if it works when I get off of here. But thank you so much for tuning in. Now, I am a lawyer, but I'm not your lawyer. So this has just been legal information. All right. So I will see you all back. I'll be back live later this week. All right. So I will see you in court. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I was about to leave, but I saw a good comment. SB says, "Yeah, I'm definitely shutting up and calling you. I came in late, but I'm going to run it back. Thank you for the information." Thank you, SB. Yes, give me a call. Be quiet. Shut the fuck up and take the ride. And I'll see you in court.